Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this dress. So it depends on you the length you want to use, but as you can see I'm using an Akara fabric and I'm using the whole length of the Akara, which is about 45. So that's what I'm using here for even my seam allowance and everything. So the next thing is the width. So you can see the fabric is folded into two and I have two of it here. One is wider and then there's this. So the smaller one is going to be the back, and then the wider one is going to be the front. So this smaller one is basically, I have my hip measurement divided by 4, which is 12, plus extra 2 inches, which is 14. That's the width here. And then for this one here, I just use this my back panel because this is going to be the back. I added it to this here, placed it on it, and then added extra 2.5 inches by the center, which is going to form the placket for the button, because remember this is a button down dress, right? So that's basically how I did it. So 2.5 extra for anybody, just use 2.5 extra. That's what you're going to use. Don't do 3, don't do just 2, just do 2.5. That would be the perfect one. So after that, I'm going to go up here, insert my shoulder measurement divided by 2, mark it. So for me it's going to be 8, and then I'm going to come down here, mark 1 inch. And then after that, you're going to do your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. Whatever you get, you're going to mark that here. So for me, let's say about 9 inches or so is what I'm going to be working with. So then after that, I'm going to remember all my measurements for the back. For this, I'm starting with this side from the edge of the back panel to put in all my measurements. So I'm going to do my I'm just going to insert this same shoulder measurement on this line so that I can be able to rule a straight line all the way to the top. And then connect it this way. So now, the next thing is going to be for me to go up here. From this point again, it said my bust divided by 4, which is here, plus extra 2 inches. 1 inch of seam allowance, 1 inch of ease. I'm going to then connect from my waist, from my shoulder to my hip, which is at 25 or 24. And then on that point there, I'm going to mark my hip divided by 4, which is going to be 12, plus extra 2 inches, 14. So I'm going to mark that here. And that's basically it. So I'm just going to connect from this outer line here all the way to this point, like this. I'm not going to be adding any waist measurements here. If you want, you can do that. Like, you can mark shoulder to your waist, right? Shoulder to your waist, let's say at 17 here. And something you can do is maybe come in here by like 1 inch to give it a little bit more shape. But I don't want to do that. I'm just going to leave mine straight because I want it free. But if you want, on your waistline, you can come in here. The measurement you have here, like here now, you can come in at this 12 inches here. Connect this in this way and then connect this out this way. Just to give it a little bit of shape by the waist, right? But I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to leave it straight. And then after that, I'm going to give it a curve by the armhole. And then I'm going to mark 3 inches for my neckline. And then connect this shoulder slope from this point here to the top there. And then once that is done, I'm going to mark 1 inch for the neck depth, connect it, and then 3 inches for the front neck. But I'm going to just leave it the way it is now. So let me go ahead and start cutting. You see this measurement here, what I have here is going to go all the way down here. That's why I didn't tamper with it. The same hip measurement plus extra 2 inches is going to run all the way down. So now the 1 inch is for ease, the other 1 inch is for my side seam. So that's why. So I'm going to go ahead now and cut this out. So guys, you see now I've slit it open in front. So this is my back panel. I'm going to remove it. And then this is the front panel. So you see that 2.5, the reason I said to do 2.5 is because This is going to form our placket by the center. But before then, remember to cut off at least half an inch by this armhole here. So you know how we normally do that in front of for your front panel. That way it's going to help this sleeve to relax better. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that here. So now let me open it up so you guys can see. So basically this is what it's going to look like, one on this side, one on the other side. So the reason why I said 2.5 inches, so you see, the reason why I said 2.5 is because when you go to fold it, the first thing you're going to do with this cloth now is just to go to your sewing machine, fold in half an inch by the end. Remember what we gave extra is 2.5. So first we fold in half an inch here, then we fold 1 inch next. So that's 2.5. You understand? Half an inch is tucked in under, 1 inch at the top, 1 inch at the back, the other side. So now when you do it on this side this way, you do it the same on this other side this way, right? Those two 1 inch will now be at the center and overlap each other. So that's how you're going to get it. So now I'm going to now take this other one, and then I'm going to put it by the back like this and join it shoulder to shoulder. So you're going to take it here, join this shoulder, and then join the other shoulder. And before you finish, don't forget to, if you want to have a pocket, don't forget to come down 10 inches by 10 inches from your underarm, 10 inches from where this underarm is, and notch it. That way you know that that's the point where your pocket will be. So I'm going to go from here down 10 inches, notch it, and then I'm going to be inserting a pocket using a lining or something for it. But you can also use your fabric. I can even use this same thing that I cut out from my armhole side and just attach it, 2 of them on one side, making 1 pocket, and then 2 of them like this on the other side, making another pocket. So guys, now for my sleeve, this is what I'm working with. So I've folded it into 2 this way because it's going to be like a long sleeve, right? And then I'm going to come down from the top here by 4 inches or so. I already have an in-depth tutorial on how to cut a long sleeve, so you can do like a 3/4 sleeve, anyone you want. So I'm going to go ahead and mark it here, and then I'm going to connect from this point to this point, and then I'm going to find halfway through this line, which for me is going to be somewhere at 6. Give it a curve like this below here, and then a curve above this way. So then from that point, I'm going to also measure my shoulder to my elbow, which is going to be at 13. And then you're going to measure the full length you want, which for me is going to be maybe at 21 or so. And then after that, you're going to come down here on your elbow and measure around your elbow, what is going to be like round the elbow divided by 2. So let's say you're working with 14, divided by 2 will be 7. And then I'm going to add 1 inch here. And then you're going to measure what your curve is. So let's say you're working with maybe 5, and then plus 1. And then from here, I'm going to connect from this point here. Plus 1 is just for the seam allowance, right? And then from here, I'm also going to connect it to this point. So guys, this is basically it here. So you're going to connect it this way and then cut all the way out. So let me go ahead and cut mine. So guys, this is it here. This is my sleeve. So I have 2 of them. So one for each side. So I'm just going to go ahead and join it to the body of the dress, and then I'll bring back everything put together so we can finish up the neckline. So guys, this is what we are working with. I've gone ahead, added my sleeve, added the other sleeve, and then finish it up. Guys, remember this dress doesn't have any darts, right? So this is just a straight dress. You see what I was saying? That 1 inch from this side is now overlapping on this other side. So my button will fit in here. So guys, there are 2 different ways you can do the neckline of this top here. And one thing I also want to say is that if you check and you find that your neck, measure around your neck, and this will not be enough, guys, I can always go back in and chip out, let's say half an inch on this side, like trim out a little bit of this, or trim out a little bit of this, or even come to the back here and trim out a little bit of this just to widen the neck. But don't do too much at a time. Just use your scissors and trim. You measure again, you trim until round the neck is exactly your neck, so it won't be tight, since the style is that you're going to button it up to the top. So now there are 2 ways to do this. You can cut it on a bias, right? You know how you cut on a bias, so that like normally your fabric will have a straight line like this, it will come straight like this, but cutting on a bias means cutting diagonally. That's how you're going to get the bias. So you can use the bias strip like this, have 1 inch on this side, 1 inch on this side, fold it in form of fold it, cut the bias, fold it into two. This we have half an inch, 1 inch on this side, 1 inch on this other side, right? And then you're going to tuck in half an inch on this side, half an inch on this side, and then you fold it into two, right? So now, like what I'm saying is, you're going to have 1 inch here, 1 inch here, so that is 2 inches of width. Now what you're going to do is fold this side with that half an inch, fold this side with that half an inch, then fold it into two. I'm just trying to explain to you how you're going to get the bias. Then you're going to take one side of this neckline and fix it inside of this way all the way to the end, and then you sew it all the way down till you get to the other side of the neckline. That's how you're going to get the piping, right? Some people even like to put in that fabric glue inside, you know, that's the strip thing that looks transparent. Put it inside of it and iron it down, and then you can just go ahead and put it. It will help it have some strength inside, you understand? Or if you don't want to do that, you can just use a basic bias, and then just go ahead and turn it over and sew it underneath it. Anyone that works for you is fine. So I'm going to do that now and add all my buttons. Guys, like I said, come down 10 inches or 11 inches from your armhole, depending on your size, and then you're going to insert your pocket. You see I have a pocket here on this side, so I'm going to do that. And then coming down to this side here, it depends on you how long you want your slit to be. You can do 7 inches, 6 inches or so. And how we sew this is just basically that 1 inch, because remember when we were sewing, we had 1 inch of ease, 1 inch of seam allowance, right? That's 1 inch of ease inside of the cloth, and then 1 inch for the seam allowance. That 1 inch that we use for our seam allowance, when we came down to the end here, all we did is just to, you see that 1 inch on this side, all I did is just to fold it away like this. You see, tuck in half an inch, tuck in the other half an inch, you see, and then sew it all the way like this, cross over here and come down. I did the same thing on the other side. Using just that my 1 inch of seam allowance, I've made the flap for this part here now. So you see, and then this other side too has its own flap. So that's basically it. So let me go ahead now and finish up the neckline, put in my button, and I'll bring it back so you guys can see what it looks like. So guys, this is it here. You see the neckline is done. You see the sleeve here, everything is done. So that's basically it. And then I've also put in my button, and this is the bottom part here. You see, the same way I stopped on my side slit is where I stopped also on the button too. So that's it here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Guys, please like, share and subscribe. Bye.